Convention of State supporters. My name is Whitney Taylor. I am your host for tonight's COS Live. I am joined by Andrew. Andrew, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing just fantastic. I'm happy to be back with you again. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm super excited for today's episode. I think we all need some encouragement, and I'm really excited to talk with you and our new guest today. She's going to be super encouraging, I'm pretty sure. And as we all know, the 2020 election has been the most contentious in our nation's history, and President Trump is still challenging the results while Joe Biden and the mainstream media insist that the election is over. So we'll reveal the poll results of what you said Trump should do and what will happen if Biden is actually sworn in as our next president. So we're going to be discussing what y'all have been thinking, which is going to be super fun. And of course, we have an interview with COS Texas volunteer who has been using her artistic talents to further the cause of COS in America. And I'm super excited to talk to her. Of course, we have our Ask Us Anything segment at the end of today's video. So go ahead and ask us questions throughout the segment and we will address them at the end. But of course, we have our Article 5 giveaway with Mike Ruthenberg himself. So Mike, take it away.
Thank you, Whitney. Andrew, it's great to be here. And today is the first day of Advent. It is amazing that we are actually in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year has gone by, for some people, incredibly fast. I'm one of them. For others, a little bit on the slow side. But I'm going to try to spice up this show. It's going to be a great show today. And I've got a great giveaway today for our trivia. And that giveaway is the coveted, the limited edition COS Christmas ornament that can adorn your tree for years and years to come. If you got one last year, you probably already got one this year. But man, they sold out so fast. People were so interested in getting these ornaments that we have to do a encore. So you can, if you don't win the ornament today, you can go to conventionofstates.com/store and you can order your own ornament. They're bargain price. They're super fun to have on your tree. And it's a great way to count your blessings for the Convention of States project as you are going into the holiday season. And now our trivia question for the day, and it involves a former president of the United States. Of course, lots of presidents are in the news right now. And this one, and you have to identify the president who said this: if, in the opinion of the people, the distribution or modification of the constitutional powers be in any particular wrong, let it be corrected by an amendment in the way which the Constitution designates. So there is our trivia question. I'll give you a big fat hint that he is depicted this year on our Christmas ornament. And let's get those answers out. See, the first one is to answer and win our Christmas ornament, and I'll let on at the end of the show. Back to you, Whitney and Andrew.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. All right, now we're going to be having a little bit of a discussion here about some poll results that we recently discovered. The 2020 election has been the most contentious in our nation's history, and President Trump is still challenging the results while Joe Biden and the mainstream media insist that the election is over. But we care more about what you think than our national politicians and the mainstream media. So we launched polls on our social media and email lists to get your thoughts on what's been going on right now. And we asked the question, do you think the election was legitimate, and what should President Trump do from here? So here's some results that we actually have. As you can see, there was consensus on both questions. 76% of respondents have very little confidence in the legitimacy of the election, and 52% believe that Trump should only concede when he has exhausted every single legal option. So these results are obviously discouraging for the future of our democracy. As the most civically engaged patriots in the nation, Convention of States volunteers and supporters have a good sense of how elections work and what makes them legitimate. When over 3/4 of these individuals don't have confidence in the election, our nation is definitely in trouble.
Yeah, no kidding. And, all those polls, those are fine and dandy and everything. But what if Biden is sworn in? What does that mean for us going forward? So Biden, this week, he announced some of his cabinet picks if he is sworn in and inaugurated. And shock of shocks, it looks like the swamp is going to be coming back to the White House. Biden will be filling his administration with career politicians, lifelong bureaucrats, former members of the Obama administration. It looks like the team is all going to be coming back. So people like John Kerry, Obama's Federal Reserve Chair, Janet Yellen, a lifelong advisor, Anthony Blinken, and all of them, they're all promising DC to go back to normal, which is not good, because that's just, the swampiness will be back. As many Americans know, that just means that there will be continued wheeling and dealing, special favors and deals, corruption. There'll be overreach, there'll be abuse, there'll be fraud. And when Trump promised to drain the swamp, Americans all over across the country, they cheered for the idea of reducing the bureaucracy and cutting regulations and really getting America back to work, and without all these restrictions. But unfortunately, Trump is just one man. He can't do it all on his own. And unfortunately as well, with an incoming Biden administration, all of those successes that he had can be reversed. They can be undone by a Biden administration. We need a better solution, something that's not going to change with an incoming administration, something that's really, truly going to permanently roll back the federal regulations, the size, the scope, and the jurisdiction of the federal government, something that will address the spending. Because you might be happy that Trump was able to cut back on some of the regulations, but he never touched spending. Article 5, an Article 5 Convention of States can address federal spending. It can address the size, scope, and jurisdiction of the federal government. And then it can also address career politicians, so we can get some of those swamp creatures out of the swamp. So for this Thanksgiving, I think we should be thankful that the founders gave us Article 5 of the Constitution. And we should be thankful that we have the possibility of actually using it by calling a convention of states, where we can actually get the DC swamp drained truly once and for all. So also, if you're afraid of the Biden administration, don't worry, because we are the solution. We were the solution before Trump. We're the solution during Trump, and we'll be the solution with an incoming Biden administration if that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely the solution as big as the problem. And there's no other solution as big as the problem. So we're really excited to be a part of that team. I'm very excited as well to introduce Edna Krueger, who is the national captain with Convention of States, Texas. She is absolutely amazing. She's actually an artist, so we're going to be having her on right now. Edna, thank you so much for joining us this evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, of course, our pleasure. So last year you did a Christmas ornament design with George Mason, which was beautiful. It sold out so fast. So I'd like to hear a little bit about this year's design. What makes it unique?
Well, we're decided to try to focus on the founding fathers, and this year we decided to focus on George Washington crossing the Delaware. Y'all can see my messy studio. I'm a working artist, so get over it. Anyway, so Kyle Key and I got together and worked on the design. I drew it up in pen ink and then transferred it to just made the ornaments. But it's not as easy as just drawing somebody in a boat. You have, because it's historical, you have to look up information and adjust things to look like what it did back then, as best we can, the time frame we had. And in the time frame I had, I discovered a lot of things, like language were not heard back then. And think about how later on, and the technology to mold and stuff like that got more advanced as future. But anyway, so that's where that came from. And we just wanted to focus on our founding president of this country, and one of the greatest things he ever did. I just kind of want to think that also the crossing of Delaware, we caught the Haitian people that were mercenaries that were fighting Britain off guard, and And maybe that's what we need to take as inspiration as Convention of States warriors to catch our enemy off guard. So we have to be ready, even when it seems like we're not doing anything. Just remember that we get prepared for when we really, really do have to pull in all the forces. It's just going to happen so quickly, you ain't going to have time to get trained. So I'm sorry, I got long-winded. I just thought of that. Crossing the Delaware. Go ahead.
Yes, that's absolutely amazing. Can we actually see a picture of the original sketch that you put together?
Yeah, it's a pen and ink on bristle board, and
Wow.
just plain old pen.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I'm rocking the ship because the monitor has the opposite of what I'm doing. Anyway, so I had to find like with his jacket coat, it wasn't like I thought when I originally drew it. The tape was not open; it was more enclosed. The hat he wore was more this time that I wrote. Lantern is more squared off. We had people in different kinds of outfits because we're a fledgling country that didn't have money for fancy uniforms and all that time. So we had people of different outfits. Just kind of like we have with Convention of States. You have all kinds of people helping states. And maybe we're not crossing the Delaware, but we are certainly doing something by what we're doing right now through this organization. Without it, we don't have a hope.
That's right, and that was really. It's honestly so beautiful that that picture that you drew of Washington crossing the Delaware. But this isn't the first time that you have used your skill for Convention of States to promote freedom in America. If I remember, you actually drew a postcard, a Christmas card for that had the Texas State Capitol, which is just absolutely stunning and gorgeous.
We took it from a sketchbook I had with me when I went down in September 2016. I sat there and drew the Capitol, and I had to finish up drawing it, some photos, but basically got everything sketched in and with watercolor painting and color pencil. And so we then turned it into a postcard that we made into a Christmas postcard for the legislators, and every one of them kept it. Even people that were opposed to Convention States loved it and kept it. And it was just so that we could kind of introduce ourselves and some thinking about Convention States. Talents can be used any way you want to. Everybody that comes into Convention States, no matter what you think, you can do something.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lady up there. She said, all I can do is pray. I said, fantastic. It's prayer. So she prays. I mean, you can do anything. If all you can do is phone calls, we shouldn't be telepatriot phone callers. If all you can do is stuff on the computer, well, you can use you doing that. If you can only just write letters, for goodness sakes, that's wonderful. I mean, there's something for everybody. You have to work dead. So if you want to help, you can. You just have to find what your talent is, and then have the district captain or regional captain put you in the position. And if there's not a position, make a position. As long as it's going for helping out, it's just like with Christians, all for the glory of God. You find out what you're supposed to do and you do it. So, I'm sorry, that's my quick thoughts.
I love that. That's amazing. So I just wanted to ask a little bit more about because you're a volunteer and you do so much. And like you just said, even our viewers are thinking probably, I don't want to volunteer because I don't have very much political experience, or I don't really know what I'm doing. But like you said, we can bring our unique talents, skills, and experiences to help us. And I just want to know a little bit more. Do you feel like it's a special thing to be able to contribute in the way that you are contributing? Because you're contributing in a way that's so unique. I don't think we have anyone contributing the same way you are. So how does that feel to be a part of a movement so big and be able to do something that you absolutely love to do and to be able to further the cause that way?
Well, I kind of fell into it. When I got into Convention of States and I saw all the computer stuff, and I am computer challenged. You can ask my brothers, but they will verify it. But I just thought, what can I do? Because I couldn't figure out the follow-up tool, because we were in the nations builder back then. You had to do a umpteen different steps to do one thing, and it was like I had like 8 or 9 pages of steps to have to do for one thing. And I thought, what else can I do? And the only thing I could think of offhand right away was my art. And I talked with Paul Hudson and Tamara Colbert, who were our co-directors of Texas back then. And that's when we came up with the postcard idea. So, but you can have to talk to the readers, and even if it's not there, I mean, I would love to see people that do music get together and do something. You know, maybe leading off at rallies with music. I mean, that catches attention. Because craft music, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things for different things and improvements. So, my youngest brother, I have to yell out this right now. My youngest brother, Bob Carlos, is the one that introduced me to Convention State. And he's the one that got me going. So sometimes your younger siblings are the ones that kick you in the rear end, like, kick going.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would love to see more people in the arts and music be contributing. If there's people out there that have art and creative uses, please don't let it intimidate you that you don't see it right now. Convention states are used everywhere. Uh, it's like in theater. You have to have people do all kinds of different things. And in convention states, you have all kinds of things that can be done. Event coordinators, district captains, helpful to district captains, whatever. You know, there's the list goes on, and I need to shut up because I can talk forever.
Mm. And so, what is your favorite part about volunteering for a convention of states?
The people,
Mm.
automatically, I know it's not the art.
Hmm.
People think it's be it, but no, it's the people. I love calling people and talking to them, and finding what they do, and then see them find something that they can get them into doing that they would love. Uh, I may not be getting just a capital, but here and there. And the thing is, at it, uh, but this is the best organization I've ever been in, and I've been in plenty of them. You know, at 64 years of age, we have, and there's just the folks in United States are committed to this country. They're wonderful patriots. Uh, almost all of them are God fearing. I align with everything they talk about, and we just have this admiration for what we're all doing, and we're so supportive. I mean, do you ever see any of us bring down anybody? Never. I've been in it 4.5 years and never seen anybody tear anybody down for trying. You know, it's encouraging, and that's why if somebody out there watching this wants to get involved, please do. I think that it will be the best thing you ever have done, and you'll be helping to save our country. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. And so I want to ask a little more of a specific question because I know you live in Texas. So what exactly is the Texas team up to and what's next for them coming up?
Well, we're trying to get ready for the session, which is coming up in January. Me personally, I'm working on calling some people, trying to get some lined up to tell Patriots. I know everybody's like, well, bunch of new leaders, well, we're working on that too, but we need people that can call other folks to activate them so that when we have to get to the Capitol, we can in early because legislators will try to pull on you last minute. You don't know something, it's not like a day or so before they'll push the job. It happens. And so we're trying to get ready for the session. And since we're a past state, we're not trying to do our resolution, but we take up liberty type of laws that are being looked at. And, like trying to reinforce the Second Amendment or something along that line. But, last session was property taxes. And as a result of us organizing with other liberty groups, we were able to encourage the legislators, scare them to death, to lower property tax from 8 to 0.085% down to 0.03%. So it's a lot, more than half cut off. It's not exactly what we wanted, but we got at least some kind of results. And so that's some of the things that we're looking at. I don't know if there's legislation up for it, but I would like to see something about a little more control on the people that are in charge, because the mandates are just ridiculous that we've experienced during the pandemic, and we really need to have those leaders not get so much power under circumstances like that. Our Constitution in Texas does not say anything about a pandemic being a right to do the what you want. Quite the contrary. You're supposed to have your legislation have a decision. That's what and I'm sure that I'm preaching to the choir. All been through this every state. It's not just or another.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we got some here in Texas out of our COS group, Shelby Williams, and we got several others, and we're starting to slowly but surely make an effect on when we say something and we visit a legislator, they do listen, because we have contact to over 200,000 people in this state, which is quite a bit. So that's good fun. So don't ever discount your visit to the office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't discount it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Edna, thank you so much for your time and thank you for sharing with us your art and everything that you do. We are so thankful for you and your unique ability to just do your talent just all the time. You're just so creative and we're so blessed to have you on our team in so many different ways and you're wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us this evening and have a great rest of your evening.
I just want to say one thing real quick. I'm so grateful to you and Andrew for doing this. We need more young people coming on. We need people of every age, anywhere from 12 years old to 100. Anybody that can do something needs to be involved. I think that's what my main message is. And it's so encouraging when you're a senior citizen like me, you see young people like you doing it.
Thank you, Edna.
Thank you so much, Edna. Thank you. Have a great evening. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, now we're going to go to Mike Ruthenberg again. He has the trivia answer for us. So, Mike, take it away.
Thank you so much, Whitney and Andrew. And it was great to hear from Edna. She is the incredibly talented, fine artist who designed not only this ornament, but last year's ornament as well. I'll give you another look at the prize here. And this is the ornament that we will be giving away for our trivia prize. And if you already have an ornament, if you already ordered one, you'd know that it says right on the back, if in the opinion of the people, the distribution or modification of the constitutional powers be in any particular wrong, let it be corrected by an amendment in the way in which the Constitution designates. And of course, on the front of our beautiful ornament right here is George Washington, the president, that said that in his farewell speech. And that goes to show you we have support for our Constitution, especially Article 5, right back to our founding. And it's a great thing to know. I hope you're the one that won this wonderful ornament. I have last year's ornament. I will have this year's ornament hanging on my tree. Haven't quite got my tree yet, but it will be there right next to the 2019 ornament. And I hope you guys keep your collection going as well. And that's it for our trivia part today. And now I'll turn it Andrew.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. All right. If you're frustrated with corrupt politics, which I'm pretty sure all of us can agree that we are frustrated, and if you're sick and tired of having your rights steamrolled, I'm pretty sure Convention of States is the answer for how you can get involved to fight against that. As Edna said earlier, the solution as big as the problem, and we are so thankful to have people like Edna, people all across the nation, every single legislative district involved, and we need as many boots on the ground as possible. So if you're interested in becoming a volunteer or a leader, please go to conventionofstates.com and share the petition and join your local COS team and help us change DC forever. I know that we need to do it, and 34 is the magic number. We'll have 15 states that have passed the resolution so far. We need 19 more. So if your state is one of the states that has not passed, please join. We are trying to figure out who will be the number 16 state as soon as legislative season begins again in 2021, which is pretty exciting.
Even if you are in a past state, you should still join. You can still contribute so much to this cause in a past state. We need to grow the largest grassroots army that this country has ever seen, and we need to direct that army towards self-governance. And we're going to need you even if you're in a past state. But if you aren't in a past state, yes, join. We need you. We also need you to follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Parler, Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. You're already following us on Facebook, I'm sure. If you're not, make sure to follow us here so you can get your information on COS. There's plenty of things to share and look at. We have just so much information. Make sure that you also come and check out Mark Meckler for the Battle Cry. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday nights. He is the COS co-founder. It's an amazing show. Make sure you check it out. But until then, it's time for us to get back to work because we have a country to save. And remember that the person that's going to be saving this country is right in the mirror looking back at you. Because it's you. You're going to help us get to 34 states to call a convention. So contribute. Join a team, just like Janet from Michigan did. And stay tuned for her final message. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time for another COS Live.
I decided to put my foot forward and become an official volunteer with the movement as a district captain in February of this year, 2020. And the reason for that was I was looking at my kids one day, and I have two boys, they're both teenagers, and I thought to myself, I need to make some sort of effort as an example for them to see what citizen activism looks like. And we love the American history, we love the story, so I thought that it was about time for me to make an example for them. So that's why I volunteered with Convention of States. I've never been politically active before. This is as close as I've ever gotten to being politically active. It's been a real learning experience. When I first made my first phone call to my legislator's office, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, which makes me laugh, but it was. But after I got over that hurdle, it's just all about relationships. And so I think that it doesn't matter who the person is, if they're a legislator or a volunteer or a state director, it's all about just getting to know people.
Okay, so one of my biggest frustrations with Washington, D.C. is I don't think that they're listening to the American people. I don't think that Congress will make the tough decisions that need to be made because it's not politically popular, and they don't want to limit their power. I think a lot of people end up going to Washington, D.C. with some great intentions, and they get there and get drunk on power. So that would be my biggest frustration with Washington, D.C. So I think America is at a crossroads. I don't think we're on the right track. I don't think we're on the wrong track, but I think we're at the precipice. I think that the left has done a great job with infiltrating, schools and just culture and just popular thought. And I think that a lot of kids today are thinking that America is coming from the bad place. I do think that I'm not ready to give up yet. I think that there's been many, many challenges throughout the history of our country, and there's always been a movement or a person or people that stood up to get the country back on the right path. So I'm thinking that that's my last saving grace. I think Convention of States is that movement, and I think that it's very important that we're successful because, like I said, I think that we're at the precipice, and if we're not successful, my children will be growing up in a country that was definitely not what the framers intended. Educate yourself on Convention of States and educate yourself on some of the process, and just talk to people. You don't have to spend or commit to spending a ton of time volunteering, but just spreading the word. A lot of people do not know about Convention of States, and when you really sit down and explain it to people, I think most of them are very excited about the possibility. I don't think that a lot of people know about it. Convention of States offers a multitude of courses through COS University, where you can learn about the history of Convention of States. You can learn about how to overcome various objections that you'll hear from people in your conversations. They're great training materials that would help you become a servant leader and activist. So I would definitely recommend going through all of the courses that are available to you on Convention of States University.